It's Saturday, June 6, 2020. I wanted to make this video this evening because I have never been more worried for this country than I am now. Just watching what I've been watching today on television, watching this economy. We saw what everybody calls a Wall Street rally yesterday. Dow Jones up 829 points. Somebody wrote to me yesterday and just said, "Oh, JB, wrong. You're so wrong. Look at the stock market." And if you are still measuring this economy by the stock market, you are so far behind the curve. There is no way anyone today can be measuring the strength of this economy by this fake, fraudulent, criminal Ponzi scheme we call the stock market. Really critically think for yourself. Dow Jones up 829 points yesterday as half of the United States of America is jobless. Half of our cities are destroyed or still burning or boarded up. And the Dow Jones is up 829 points. Our industry has been devastated. Manufacturing devastated. The auto industry devastated. Shipping devastated. Retail devastated. Leisure, hospitality devastated. But they're going to tell you we just added 2.5 million jobs. Let me be very clear. We didn't add 2.5 million jobs. That's 2.5 million people returning to old jobs. But they're trying to make it out like the economy is growing, we're adding new jobs. Wrong. Those are old jobs. And I wonder how many of those people, of those 2.5 million people, supposedly, who have gone back to work, I wonder how many of those people got a wage cut. But I don't even believe the numbers now. I believe we are seeing so much cooking of the books, cooking of the numbers, whether that's employment numbers, whether that's job growth, economic growth. It is mere cooking of the numbers at this point. You know, we look at companies like Hertz, bankrupt Hertz, from Wednesday to Friday. They're up 353%. This is the twilight zone we are living in today. We added, I read yesterday, we added 464,000 construction jobs. So as I'm driving through the desert today, seeing more new vacant buildings with more new for lease, for sale signs, I guess the construction industry is booming as commercial real estate is in a depression. And when you have 40 plus million people jobless in America, people whose credit is being decimated, people who are not going to be returning to work, millions are not going back to jobs because there are no jobs to return to. If you look at how many retailers have gone out of business already, how many restaurants are out of business, there are millions of people who are not going to be returning to work. Yes, millions of people will be returning to work, but if you think we're going to see some gigantic economic boom take place or some surge in new jobs, you are sadly mistaken. So where is all this construction growth going to be when people right now are getting their wages cut, people not returning to work, still jobless, some going back to work, many getting cuts in their wages? So who's buying a house now? I'm so, like, there was such a contradiction here. I'm very, very confused. How is the housing market going to do anything other than collapse when you look at the real economy? Stop looking at the stock market. It's a complete scam. It is just a complete giant Ponzi scheme, and they are just cooking the numbers by the Fed going in and buying everything. So it's not real. But what is real is when I go down into town, when I'm driving down the highway, when I'm driving locally or around parts of California, what is real is the vacant buildings, the closed restaurants, the closed retailers. That's what's real. And I'm going to tell you from what I'm seeing. Please comment down below and let me know what you're seeing in your areas. I was out today in the desert here in the Palm Springs area, and every time I go out, and I am not exaggerating one bit, but literally every time I go out and drive around, there is another for sale or for lease sign, another vacant building. And I'm going to tell you, I've never seen anything like this. It's like every 100 feet, it's like another for sale or for lease sign. There is so much vacant real estate sitting out here in the desert. But they're telling us everything's great. The stock market's booming, 2.5 million jobs, old jobs, but they're trying to make it sound like it's new. But I guess we're going to see what happens when those $600 bonuses come to an end July 31st. We're going to see what kind of influence that has on this economy. We drove past a Ross today. People were waiting in line to go into Ross. Of all stores to wait in line, people were waiting in line. And I'm not judging anybody here, but these people didn't look that well off. And I've got to say, to me, this is people spending the $600 bonuses, spending the stimulus checks, waiting in line to get into a Ross. I saw today, believe it or not, 18 cars in a Starbucks drive-thru. 18 cars in a Starbucks drive-thru for people to get their $7 lattes. As we anticipated a while back, the Fed is going to drive these markets higher. The Fed is going to drive these markets to all-time highs. It's not going to be the cooked up job numbers. It's not going to be the fake optimism. It is going to be the Fed driving these markets. So these people who write me and tell me I'm wrong, the economy's booming because the Dow Jones is up another 800 plus points, you are drinking the Kool-Aid. Get out of the matrix. Get out of the twilight zone. You are as disconnected from reality as the stock market is from Main Street. Please wake up. I'm praying for you, and I'm not judging anybody here. I am very concerned about everybody out there, whether they agree with me or disagree with me, whether they're a troll, whether they support this channel. I am concerned about everybody. And honestly, I'm even more concerned about the people who actually believe everything is okay, because these people are going to be the ones taken by surprise because they've been drinking the Kool-Aid. They've been listening to everything the television tells them. They're listening to what their friends are telling them. And look, you are 100% wrong. Be very careful who you're listening to. Just critically think for a minute. If the Fed didn't have 0% interest rates, if the Fed wasn't throwing trillions of dollars into these markets, where would we be right now? If we didn't have corporate buybacks, where would we be right now? If we didn't have all these massive repo injections, where would this economy be right now? If the Fed wasn't giving people $600 bonuses, if the government wasn't giving unemployment benefits, extending unemployment benefits, where would all this be? Where would it all be if 5 million people were unable to put their homes in forbearance, 15 million people putting off credit card payments in forbearance? What if they couldn't do that? Where would this all be right now? See, the economy is dead on arrival. And there's people out there who can't admit it because they're wrong, they're scared, they're unprepared, and they're very worried about what's going to happen to them. This is why I've been making videos for a few years now, warning everybody out there who would listen to get prepared. We are going to see record numbers in the stock market while 40 million plus people are jobless. Cities are burning. States and cities are bankrupt. Pensions are unfunded. Ask yourself, does any of this make any sense to you? It's all artificial. It is the Fed driving the markets now. The president is now taking credit for this economy, which, look, I don't want to see the president fail, but I've got to call it out here. This president is taking credit for the 2.5 million jobs, old jobs, people returning back to old jobs. He's taking credit for this stock market that is being driven 100% now by the Federal Reserve. I do not understand how this president would want to take any kind of credit for any of this. Look at the debt and the deficits. They are absolutely blowing out of control. And why you would take credit for this, I have no idea. This president wants negative rates. He is demanding more stimulus to keep this whole thing glued together. You know, if this president wants to be real, he needs to come to the people and tell the people how they've been bamboozled, fooled, robbed, tricked. But he's not doing that. So I've got to question the authenticity of this president when he is not being honest with the people. Look, I'm being honest 100% here. I don't want to see the country or the president fail, but I've got to call the president out here and start asking why he is continuing to do what all these past presidents are doing, why he is continuing to want to drive this Ponzi scheme stock market even higher, because he's got to understand the damage that this is going to do to this country. At some point, the Ponzi scheme ends. We are all on the hook for this massive debt, all this overvaluation of stocks. We're sitting on a massive housing bubble that nobody wants to talk about. More debt, more borrowing, bigger deficits, more unrest, more uncertainties, and now cities want to cut police budgets. I believe that LA is going to cut the police budget by $150 million. I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist or a nuclear physicist to figure out what the consequences of this are going to be, what the results of this are going to be. So your number one asset, no doubt, and it is becoming by far the number one asset, it is security. Police budgets across the country are going to be cut. They're actually asking that they just, in some cities like Minnesota, they're actually asking to get rid of the police. So what is the citizen, what is the store owner going to do when there are no police? Again, I think we can all figure out where this goes. Security is your number one asset. It is by far now more important than anything that you have security, because if you haven't seen by now, you are on your own. You are responsible for you. Nobody is coming to help you. And guess what? From what we're seeing, it's going to get even worse. So as they cut these police budgets, what does that mean for you? It means more crime, and it means that you are on your own. It means that we're going to get more police that are less trained. We're going to get more subpar, substandard police because these budgets mean that they're going to probably pay less. They're going to have to cut somewhere, probably training. And there's going to be less police out there. So you are on your own. Make sure that you have security. Make sure you are well trained. Article today on The Hedge: with 40 million unemployed, Citibank urges wealthy clients it's time to buy. They don't want you saving cash. They want you out there gambling. And Citibank knows that their wealthy clients are sitting on a lot of cash. 35% on average of those portfolios are sitting in cash. Citi's been telling its clients that they're holding too much cash, and the bank's chief investment officer, David Balin, has said he has big plans to help put an end to that. The bank released its mid-year outlook, From Fear to Prosperity, it's called, investing in a new economic cycle. Perhaps the clients weighed. This is perhaps why they're hanging on to cash. Maybe they weighed on the serious consequences of record unemployment. Maybe they remain cautious based on the many unknowns of this infection. Look, people are not going to restaurants like they used to. They're not out in public like they used to. I can tell you that every day that I go out, I see that people are covered up. They're not sitting next to one another in the restaurants, not even outside. It is so apparent and obvious what's happening, the damage that has happened to this economy. It is very clear. The economy has been damaged severely. Maybe rising tensions with China. Here we go again. The phase one deal. There is no phase one deal. Tensions are rising. Maybe the social divide that we're witnessing is another reason. Maybe they're stockpiling cash and not taking that money and gambling like Citi wants you to. They're basically telling their clients to buy the effing dip, which is absolutely hilarious since the S&P is nearly flat for the entire year and the NASDAQ is at all-time highs. There is no dip. But Citi is recommending its clients buy. This totally contradicts what Warren Buffett said. He said, there is nothing to buy. The Fed acted too quickly. So, as people are talking about this V-shaped recovery, I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe mathematically and economically it's impossible. From what I see in my surrounding area, and your surrounding area might be different. Maybe it's booming and everybody's going out and buying cars and houses and whatnot. But I can tell you this, the auto lots are ghost towns. Some of the restaurants are busy. Many of them are not. Ross today had a line, but the $600 bonuses are going to end. If you don't get an extension on your unemployment check, what's going to happen there? So while so many people are telling us how great the economy is because the stock market's up, just remember, most Americans are not benefiting from this booming Ponzi scheme we call the stock market. Unemployment remains at all-time highs, whether it's 40 million, 35 million, 50 million. Nobody even really knows the true number now. It depends on who's cooking the books, I guess. 14% of American families are directly invested in individual stocks. That's it, 14%. As the 0.00001% are laughing all the way to the bank, how are things going for you? Is your bank account getting bigger? Are you making more money at work? Are your wages going up? Are they going down? How many side hustles got cut? Many people working 2, 3, 4 side hustles. Did you have a side hustle cut? Are you noticing? I went to the store today, bought seafood. It is now up about 30% from about 8 weeks ago. 30%. It is so unbelievable what we are watching. So people's paychecks are going to decrease while food continues to go up. I haven't seen rent go down. I haven't seen mortgages go down, but the cost of living is going up. And I'm very worried as soon as these $600 bonuses start getting cut, as soon as people start rolling off the unemployment benefits, what's going to happen? So are you wealthier? Do you have a higher net worth today than you did 5, 10, 15 years ago? Do you have job security? I think that's something nobody's talking about. Many people may be returning to work. How long are those jobs going to last? If business doesn't pick up, guess what? They got to start letting people go. If business doesn't pick up, companies also go out of business, and that means people get laid off. I think that we're at a point now in America where we really, really have to get into survival mode here. I cannot stress the importance, if you're on unemployment, if you're getting a $600 bonus, if you still have a job today, whatever the case may be, it's probably not beneficial to be waiting in line at Starbucks or Ross. This is the time you need to be hunkering down. And if you're doing well, God bless you. You should be thanking God tonight. If you're doing well in this economy, that's incredible. My hat goes off to you. Anybody who is doing well in this economy, God bless you. And you should be thanking God tonight that you are doing well. And if you are, be prepared for very, very unpredictable times. You may be doing well today, but will you be doing well in 6 months? There is so much uncertainty out there and unknown. So make sure if you are doing well that you are preparing, that you have security, food, water, and hard assets. You know, I think that many people are watching the fake optimism and the hype, thinking that everything is going to go back to this normal, that that we're going to go back to the lowest unemployment in 50, 60 years, which again, how many people were working multiple jobs? How many people were working low wages? We hear how great everything was, but when we look at the wages that people are making, 51% of this country making less than $32,000 a year, people having to work 2, 3 side hustles just to make it, people having no net worth, no retirement. Look, if you're doing well right now, get yourself prepared, because there's no guarantee that that's going to last. And I hope it does. I really do. I want everybody to do well. But this economy can change very, very quickly, and you better be ready to evolve with it. This is the time to hunker down, get small, get the debts paid off, make sure you have assets, make sure you have gold, make sure you have cash reserve, make sure that you are prepared, because this economy, as much as they're trying to sell it to you on TV that it's coming back and that everybody's going to have a job and that everybody's going to be doing great, I'm here to tell you that is a bold-faced lie. Things are going to continue to get worse. Take a look at what's happening in your cities. Take a look at the divide. Take a look at the unrest. Take a look at the instability that is taking place. They may be telling you everything is good. We are by far not out of the woods. We're going to get deeper into the woods, and millions of people are going to pay a dear price. They're going to learn a very, very valuable lesson. Do not be a victim of this economy. Things are breaking down socially. They are breaking down economically. We are one event away from things getting absolutely crazy. Imagine if something really, really bad happened out there. Imagine if we had an EMP. You can just imagine some of the things that could take place right now that could set things off in this country. And we are really in times that, I don't even know how to explain it. These are very scary times. And I believe that this economy is going to make another hard turn down. And as we see everything that's happening socially, politically, and economically, we are in very uncertain times. And if you've been blessed and you're doing well right now, take some of that fiat monopoly money, that fake fiat monopoly money, while it still has some buying power, and make sure that you have preparations. I cannot stress enough of the importance of holding gold and silver. They got pulled down hard this week. It's a good opportunity to get in and buy some. I will be buying more myself. And if you don't have security, my goodness, what are you thinking? Just think, if anything ever happened to your family or your kids, you would never forgive yourself. So please make sure you have security. Go get some training. That is so important. But look, I'm speechless with what I'm watching take place on the television, what is happening. This could get a lot worse, ladies and gentlemen. It could get a lot worse. So again, if you're doing well, prepare. If you're getting those $600 bonuses or unemployment, make sure you're not blowing it on items you don't need, on TVs, on coffees, shopping for clothes. Look, buy real stuff, buy real assets, buy preparation. I can't stress it enough. Everybody who told you things like this couldn't happen, oh, too big to fail, oh, the economy is going to go on forever, they're going to print money forever, everything's going to be fine. These people have been 100% wrong. Take a good look and critically think, independently think for yourself. Do you think that this is going to get better overnight? Do you think we're going to have a booming jobs market? Do you think we're going to have a booming economy? We don't manufacture anything here. We barely have industry. We produce debt. And the debt is getting out of control. And sooner or later, the inflation that we're seeing that they tell you that doesn't exist is going to turn into hyperinflation. Then we got real big trouble. Everybody believes that the petrodollar is going to be here for the next 1,000 years. What if it isn't? Everybody believes that America is much stronger than it really is. I hate to tell you. Take a look at what's happening all over America. Do we look strong to you? Do we look strong to you? I see a lot of weakness, and we saw how weak this economy really is. It blew over like a house of cards on quicksand. This country is extremely weak, and I know that there's people out there that just can't believe that. They just won't believe it. But you've been bamboozled. They kept telling you how strong the consumer was, how strong the household was, how strong the economy was, as they keep telling you how strong the US dollar is because it's the least sickest kid in the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you this, but from what I see, this country is on borrowed time.